Walk down almost any bustling commercial street in India today and look up. Mixed in among the modern digital studios and pharmacies, you will inevitably find the distinct signage of a homeopathic doctor. For generations, millions of Indian families have placed their absolute trust in these clinics, relying on tiny, sweet white pills for everything from a stubborn seasonal cold to complex chronic pain. It feels deeply intrinsically Indian. Yet this medical system actually originated thousands of miles away in 18th century Europe. The man responsible was Dr. Samuel Hahnemann, a brilliant German scientist and linguist who stumbled into an entirely accidental discovery while trying to make a living. So how exactly did a single, eccentric medical experiment from 1790s Germany cross oceans in centuries to embed itself into the daily lives of millions of modern Indians? To understand Hahnemann's motivation, we have to look at the grim reality of 18th century medicine. Standard care at the time often involved heavy doses of toxic chemicals or intentionally slicing open a patient's arm to drain their blood into a bowl. Often, the prescribed cure killed the patient much faster than the disease itself. Hahnemann found this status quo unacceptable. Frustrated by the harm he was causing, he actually walked away from his medical practice. To make ends meet, he started translating medical texts. One day, he read a fascinating claim that cinchona bark, the source of quinine, was being used to cure malaria. Most doctors would accept the result and move on. Hahnemann wanted to know exactly why it worked. He decided to test it himself. While perfectly healthy, he ingested it. Soon he exhibited severe malaria-like symptoms: fever, chills, and deep exhaustion. That specific feverish reaction led him to formulate a counterintuitive principle, similia similibus currentur, or like cures like. The logic was that a substance causing symptoms in a healthy person could cure those same symptoms in a sick one. That creates an immediate mechanical problem. If you need to give a sick patient a toxic substance, how do you do it without poisoning them? Hahnemann developed potentization. He diluted a single drop of the active substance in water, shaking it vigorously at each step. This extreme, repetitive dilution stripped away physical toxicity, but was believed to increase the medicine's underlying energy, or potency. You can see the immediate appeal. In an era dominated by leeches and scalpels, these neat rows of tiny glass vials offered an elegant, entirely pain-free alternative. The practice quickly spread through mainstream hospitals across Europe and America. By the 19th century, European doctors and missionaries brought these vials with them to the streets of colonial India. But while the Europeans introduced it to the subcontinent, homeopathy reached its massive historical scale largely because the native Indian population embraced it. It quickly shifted from a foreign import to a locally championed cause, driven by influential Indian pioneers like Dr. Mahendralal Sarkar, who advocated heavily for its adoption. The socioeconomic drivers were clear. India had a massive, largely impoverished population under colonial rule, and homeopathic remedies were incredibly cheap to produce and distribute to crowded hospital wards. Practically, the treatment was exceptionally gentle. It offered an alternative that patients felt carried zero severe side effects. But the deeper reason for its permanent assimilation into Indian culture was philosophical. Homeopathic diagnosis focuses entirely on the whole individual, rather than isolating a specific disease. A practitioner assesses the mind, the body, and the emotions simultaneously, looking at how they intersect to affect the patient's overall state. This holistic triad perfectly mirrored deeply ingrained pre-existing Indian philosophies of wellness. It made a German medical import feel like a natural extension of traditional wisdom. That leaves us with an interesting question today. In an era dominated by artificial intelligence, rapid technological advancements, and strict clinical data, where does an 18th century practice fit? Millions of people still seek out these clinics specifically to manage complex, long-term chronic diseases, areas where conventional medicine often struggles to provide holistic comfort. Hahnemann's long journey from a frustrated translator to the founder of a global movement shows that progress in healthcare doesn't require discarding the past. It's about integrating careful observation, deep tradition, and individualized care with modern scientific rigor. If you found this medical history curious, hit the like button, share this video, and subscribe as we keep exploring the hidden histories that shape our world.